Hey all, Coach Craig here. All right, so today's topic is about AI as a thinking partner. And there's a very specific application that I have found that has changed the way that I learn. And the primary starting point is that if you have a document, for example, a project document, some sort of a requirements document that might delineate all of the various aspects of the system and the complexity of the system, et cetera, et cetera. That document was produced in a static form. So the person who produced it had made decisions about how the person who is going to read it will consume the content. So because it's a static document, there is no such thing as one size fits all when it comes to learning. And so what I have done is I have made AI a learning concierge. And the way that I do this is I upload the document or set of documents, everything that AI needs. I use ChatGPT, it works fine. They're on model 5 now and works great. And so I upload the documents and then I start asking focusing questions about the data. I'll start with, okay, give me a summary of this whole thing. And I like to use advanced voice mode. And so it'll just speak to me what's, it's perception of the summary, and as it's going through and something catches my ear, I will go, oh, hold on, tell me more about the CAD, the computer aided dispatch system. And then it will tell me more about that, and I'm like, okay, now I think I understand that. Okay, go ahead and give me back the summary. And then it'll recontinue the summary, and as I find something else that's interesting, I'll be like, oh, okay, so tell me about the types of trains. You mentioned there's like 3 different types of trains in this regional transit system. There's these CAF trains, there's the Siemens U2 train, and there's the S700. Tell me about the differences among these trains, right? And then it tells me the differences. And then I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. Okay, so you're saying that the U2 and the CAF are only using UHF and VHF in order to transmit data off the trains. However, the S700 has an R1900 cellular router. Is that right? And you can see how, like, instantly I'm like way deep in whatever it is that interests me. And so I get to drive how I consume the information. And it has no problem saying, oh, being interrupted as, it's spewing stuff out. I'll interrupt it and ask for things. And then I can step back out to the summary and say, okay, I think I have a good handle of the, the nitty gritty details. Give me the summary again. And then as it's going through the summary, then I can sort of know whether or not I really understand the topics that it hits at a high level. So this is my call to action to you, to learn to use AI as a thinking partner, because that's really where the leverage is. To be able to quickly understand something, you need to be able to learn it in the way that you learn things. I used to think that because I didn't understand something, it must be on me. It must be a problem with my ability to perceive the sophistication of this particular person's description of something. It turns out it's totally not. A lot of times people will use academies or other flowery language in order to mask the fact that it's a dumb idea. And so sometimes people will add complexity in order to sound smart, but ultimately all they're doing is confusing people like me. And so I would invite you to learn to use AI to teach you in the way that you like to learn. And you might really want to hear the whole thing. You might want it to read sections verbatim. You might be a linear thinker. You might be an associative thinker. Whatever it is, you might need analogies. You could say, you know what, this really complex system, I think I understand all the components, but give me an analogy, right? Boom, and it'll build an analogy for you so that you can understand it and relate it to something else. And I did this while learning about the linear algebra involved in large language models and training large language models. Anyway, I hope this is helpful. Go out and use AI, because it's like we are in a different world now. So if you are not leveraging it as a thinking partner, then you're not leveraging it at the highest capacity. Coach Craig out.